This is your family lawyer, and I want to say thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation. During the week, I had one of my counselors ask me a very simple question, and that's a question that has motivated me to do this particular episode or make this today's episode the topic that I'm addressing today, the issues I'm addressing today. She said something like, why is it that people, when talking about divorce on social media or they're talking about it in movies, they make it appear as though it's just a walk in the park, as though it was something you can just easily get, and before you know it, you're already divorced. Well, the reason why she was saying this was because she had come for her pre-divorce counseling, and by the time she was going through what she would expect in the course of the divorce, she realized that Nollywood and what those advocates get to share on social media is not as true as they say, or rather, they make it appear simpler than it truly is in reality. It is I, Alright Eigbe, your favorite counseling psychologist and also family lawyer. So this episode happens to be the first episode of your family lawyer in this year 2025. And interestingly, it's happening today, which happens to be the first Tuesday of February 2025. That means if I said Happy New Year, it will be in order, right? So Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. So this episode is for those who are considering divorce and for those who are already in court for divorce. For those who know me, you will know that I have a simple policy, and what I usually encourage people to do is to see as much as possible to ensure that their marriage never ends in divorce. Yes, I am a divorce lawyer, I'm a family lawyer, but I have observed over the years in the course of my work that marriages and people who seek professional marriage counseling early enough in their marriage usually get things fixed, right? Yes, some few of them, the conclusion at the end of the day may be for them to go their separate ways, but in reality, if the two people are willing to work on their marriage and make their marriage work, and they bring in a professional to help them, to assist them achieve that goal, they usually achieve it. I want to say a very big thank you in joining me today for my first Your Family Lawyer for the year 2025. Divorce is very traumatic. No matter how they try to explain it to you, no matter the things they try to say to make you think otherwise, in reality, divorce is traumatic. And for what I tell people is that in our law firm, we try to do everything to make it less traumatic, right? To make it less dramatic for you. In fact, we try to ensure that it does not make any trauma you brought into the marriage or any trauma you have experienced thus far to get worse. And we do everything to also ensure that in the course of the divorce, new traumas are not planted, new traumas do not spring up that would go beyond the divorce process. Why? It is because today we have the concept of family trauma. Trauma that passed from father or mother to their children, to their grandchildren, to their great-grandchildren, that the people who are dealing with the trauma today do not even know the root cause. They cannot actually tell where the trauma started from. They cannot tell where all the issues started from that they are getting to deal with, right? So we try to do everything to make it as simple as possible for our clients. But in reality, we cannot separate divorce from trauma. So everything I'm sharing with you today is not professional advice. Yes, I'm a family lawyer and I've been a lawyer for about 14 years. And I have also been a counselor for about 20 years. Today, I have a master's degree in marriage and family counseling psychology, all right? But then, what I'm sharing here is not professional advice. This is for educational and orientational purposes. And I want you to see it as such so that if you have anything that may require you seeking professional guidance, I want you to find a counselor near you, to make an appointment, to find a lawyer near you, make an appointment if you don't want to reach out to me using the details on this particular episode. So let's go back to our gist, right? Many people think that divorce is just a walk in the park. So I want to divorce, I prepare the papers are prepared, they send to the other person sign, and we work out. I've heard people say things like, I will not sign the papers, I will not sign the papers. Interestingly, for clients that I had who refused to acknowledge service of divorce petition on them, they ended up regretting. And the reason is simple, is that we don't want you to acknowledge that you have received the divorce petition. We don't want you to acknowledge. It makes things easier for us. It means that you are not objecting to all the prayers that we have prayed. In fact, we can come to court and add more things to it. Right? Because that's actually what it means. So before I continue, if you have ever served any paper from court, accept it and find a lawyer immediately. Immediately does not mean find a lawyer the next week or find a lawyer 2 weeks time. Immediately means find a lawyer not later than the next day. All right. But this idea where people are served court processes and they don't want to receive it because they are thinking that, oh, I will not sign the paper, I will not agree to the divorce, you are shortchanging yourself, right? That is actually not how it works. It does not work as it appears in the movies. Now, what will be the trouble that most people will experience in the course of a divorce? So let me see how I can break it down and explain some of the trauma people may experience, right? I have observed again and again that people who come for divorce, I mean, these are clients who are the petitioners, so they are the ones asking for divorce. It's not like their spouse serves them with the divorce petition. They approached us and said, I need to quit my marriage, I need to get out of this marriage and all of that. One of the things that I have seen in them is this sense of failure, right? Failure of the fact that they ventured into something, they invested in something, and it did not work. It's terrible, right? That's the first overwhelming emotion that they feel. That sense of, oh, I failed. Oh, so you mean I'm about to be part of the divorce statistics? Oh, you mean after today, after this divorce is completed, my children will now become children from a broken home. You mean by the time people know I'm in court right now for this divorce, they will start looking at me and treating me as a divorcee? You know, that stigma, that sense of failure, it's always usually very overwhelming for them. That's the first thing I notice, right? Yes, they are hurt, they have been battered, their emotions have been destroyed, they have been abused in this marriage, they have been treated badly, and they have to quit. And they must quit, they should quit to save their sanity, to save their life. But even at that, they tend to be like Lot's wife who look back to like, don't tell me that all the life that I've built for this last 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 15 years, 25 years, 30 years is coming to an end. It's a very hurtful experience. So, let me tell you some of the things I get to share with my clients to help them deal with issues like that. The first thing I usually share is simple, that before you ever choose to divorce, seek a pre-divorce counseling. You want to seek it to the lawyer to ascertain, first of all, if your marriage is as bad as you think. My recommendation is that you speak with a marriage therapist first. Like, review the marriage to actually see if this marriage is something that can still be worked on or a marriage that should end. In fact, do not consult a divorce lawyer. Yes, I'm a divorce lawyer, but do not consult us for divorce until you have first of all spoken with a professional marriage counselor to ascertain if divorce should actually be the next step. There's a reason why I'm saying this. Of course, I've done counseling for about 20 years, and I'm also a lawyer, and I've done law right now for 30 to 14 years. There are marriages we have ended that shouldn't have ended, right? There are marriages that we have done their divorce that shouldn't have got to the divorce court at all if the couple had reached out to a counselor, had reached out to a therapist from the very beginning when they notice an issue, when they notice a problem in their marriage. In fact, in reality, some marriages will not have ever existed in the first place. I mean, they will not have even gone through the marriage ceremony, through the wedding, if they have consulted a marriage therapist. And after the marriage, and things started popping up, issues started arising, if they had contacted a therapist, they won't have been in the divorce court. I mean, they have talked with a marriage counselor from the earliest beginning. So that's why I still say, talk to a professional marriage counselor to assess this marriage. I mean, it is sad to mention, but that's just the reality, that we have done the divorce of some couples over issues that our own marriages as their divorce lawyers have survived. There are things that our marriages have been able to grow above, grow beyond, successfully deal with, successfully handle, that has ruined other people's marriages. And trust me, their marriages will not have come to an end if they have sought professional counseling from the beginning. So before you say, I want to divorce, seek professional counseling to ascertain if you should take that option or not, right? Now, have you decided to divorce? And the conclusion is that you should divorce. Perhaps we have looked at everything that you have experienced thus far. We have looked at what you have experienced thus far. And we can also consider that there is no hope of things getting better, right? From the way your partner is going about it, from the way things are happening, we cannot see any light at the end of the tunnel. If you have gotten to that position right now, to that point, and you want to divorce, then the first thing you should do is to find a lawyer who is pro-family. I will explain. A lawyer who is pro-family and a lawyer who is pro-mental health. Some people just want to go to court. I know many of them are my colleagues, right? Some of them are people that I know, right? You just bring them a divorce case and they want to go to court. They want to get you divorced. That's just their goal. That's their target, right? They want to get you divorced. They just want to get you out. Not because necessarily they want to get you divorced, but because they want to make money from the divorce. They want to charge you their fee and make money from it. Just because they want that money, that professional fee, they may necessarily not care how the divorce goes, how it affects you, how it affects your children. Their target is, we are getting a divorce. My client wants a divorce and we are getting that divorce. But for lawyers who are pro-family, lawyers who are pro-mental health, and that's also where my office stands, where we stand, every one of us at our law firm. For lawyers like us, our goal is always to see how we can make your divorce less traumatic and how we can ensure that at the end of the day, there is no terrible trauma. There's no trauma that passes that season and is inherited by your children, inherited by your children's children to cause what we call a family trauma, generational trauma. People who go into their second marriages after a divorce are said to more likely divorce again than people in their first marriages. So what it means is that between somebody who is married for the first time and between a divorcee who is married for the second time or third time, the divorcee who is remarrying is most likely going to divorce again than the person who married the first time. You are going to say, oh, the person ought to have learned his or her lessons, ought to have been able to spot all the red flags and the rest. For family and friends, it does not work like that. there's usually a trauma that they carry along, that they travel through life along, that was not dealt with. So for us as a law firm, one of the goals we have is to make it less traumatic so that you actually don't have a trauma that is passing through generations. And we have many people who they cannot have good marriages today because their parents could not have it and their grandparents could not have it. It becomes like a generational curse, like a family curse. It now becomes a generational trauma, like it just passes. So the people in the third, fourth generation cannot even understand why they are unable to do marriage, cannot understand where it is coming from. So for us as family lawyers and divorce lawyers, what we do is to help our clients focus on what is important. What is important is that you want to lead this marriage, you want to have access to your children, you want to have good relationship with your children, or you want to have custody, and you want to be able to harmoniously co-parent with your ex, right? You want to be able to still be able to move on, not being afraid of marriage. Your children also not also being afraid of marriage, and you want life to go smoothly while you are experiencing healing from the trauma that came with the divorce, right? That's usually a target. Many times people want to tell all their stories, they want to tell different things and the rest, they want everything to be in the paper. Some people want to go on social media. Hey, before I even forget, don't. No, never go on social media to rant. Don't go on social media. Yes, you may want to say all these things. There are things you may have ignored, things you may have shelved over the years, things you may have just let go. It's not like you forgave those things and trashed them, but you just set them aside. And right now you're feeling hot. You're feeling hot. Anger is welling out from you, and you just want to say everything. What we try to do is we try to prevent you from saying things that would also come back to haunt you and destroy your reputation in the future. I know some people always try to paint their spouse as a bad person. In reality, it takes two to tango. And I know in some very rare cases, maybe just one person that is bad. But for you to have even made the decision to marry this person shows that there is some bad in you. That bad could be your decision making. Right? So what we do is that we don't like you just coming to court and bad-mouthing your spouse, bad-mouthing everything, because at the end of the day, this person is still the co-parent of your children. This person is still going to be in the history that you chose this person. You once chose to marry this person. So what we do is we find what are the grounds for divorce that we want to rely on, and just find the stories that will support that. I would like to praise some people, some judges. There are some amazing judges. Okay, I know one of the, I will not want to mention them so that I don't overhype and the rest, but in the first family court, the first family high court in Ibadan, I usually like the way she cautions even lawyers in her family court. And she's like, come on, we don't have to be doing all of this, right? She will always say that. And I enjoy it. I always enjoy being in her court. For example, doing family matters, like we don't have to be doing everything. We don't have to do things that would trigger some trauma. We don't have to do things that will make life more difficult for you. Because you think that you are ranting and you are pointing out your heart. In reality, you may not. You may just be making things worse for yourself, for your own mental health, and for your own social reputation long after the divorce. Right? So we try to find stories that will support the grounds of the divorce that we want. We don't necessarily have to tell everything. Some people want to tell everything. I understand you are frustrated. And that leads me to the third thing. You want to find a support system. I usually tell all my clients, right? If you're going through divorce or you want to go through divorce, find a support system that will help you emotionally during the process. And I'm not talking about those people that they tag feminists. You know those people that they tag feminists? Feminism is not bad. In fact, I am a feminist, right? Equal opportunities for our women, equal rights for them, equal representation for them, right? That is what true feminism is. But we know there are these feminists, and what who they are is anti-men. There's a word for it that just flashed. Yeah, I wish I could speak ASAN and you will understand, but those people they call toxic feminists, those people they call feminists, that you know that they are not fighting for the rights of women. They are not actually fighting for the welfare of women. What they are fighting is just men, right? I'm not talking about finding those kind of people around you. Finding a support system. People who will support you, people who will speak strength to you, people who will speak hope to you, people who will be there to listen to you, to hear you cry. Your family lawyer will not be able to do that, right? If I'm your family lawyer, I will not do that. Unless, of course, you are also hiring me to be your counseling psychologist, because I do counseling, right? We will not do that. So you want to find that support system. It can be family, it can be friends, it can be religious leaders. Most especially, I will recommend therapists, right? People who will be there to support you emotionally. See, let me tell you something. I have seen people who plan that they are going to have an amicable, harmonious Yes, I have seen people who planned a harmonious divorce. Like that was their plan, an amicable divorce. That okay, let's just sudden. Sorry, let me switch. Then all of a sudden, one person is like, no. Since we are just divorcing, let's just say everything that truly happened. But I've had about 3 to 5 cases like that this year, right? This is February. This is first Tuesday in February. And I'm saying this year already, I've had about 3 to 5 cases. So like, no, I think we should just tell the truth. We should actually tell the truth of what has happened and the rest. Or I think I should pour out my mind. They may not have planned that initially, but that hurt, that frustration, that sense of failure, that you see, this marriage could have worked if not because of you, or even not because of your mother, your father, or even not because of so and so, right? That memory can trigger anger in them, and they just want to speak. They want to say everything. I usually say, don't do it in court. Say it to your therapist. Say it to your support system. Don't do it on social media. Do not do it on social media. Because at the end of the day, some of these things come back to haunt you. Some of these things come back to haunt you. What you are just doing is that you are transferring trauma to your children. You are transferring trauma to your children. Sometimes you are even transferring fear to the next person that will marry you. Instead that you are even transferring fear, or you are beginning to build a wall in yourself that will negatively affect you in the future. And by the time the divorce is over, I'll still want you to still be in therapy. At least still be in therapy for maybe like the next 6 months. It will be fair if you are in therapy post-divorce for 9 months. Just regularly checking on your mental health, regularly checking your decisions, regularly checking your orientations about marriage, about parenting, about co-parenting and everything. Divorce is traumatic. Family court is traumatic. In our office, we try to do everything to make it less traumatic, but we cannot take out the trauma completely. Because there's that sense of, I am not a divorcee. There's that stigma, no matter how much we try to fight it, that stigma is still somewhere there. The stigma, you experience it in your family, you experience it in your community, at your workplace, at your religious place. People will love you, people will embrace you, but there may just be this one person that may still try to stigmatize you. And surprisingly, that person may not even be up to 1% of the people around you. But yet that person's stigma will be loud. Right? And it will be getting to you. May get at you. So I have shared 3 things with you today. Next week, I'll be sharing other things with you. So set your alarm for the same time, because every Tuesday at about this time on this particular platform, I'll be here with you sharing information with you on divorce and family law in Nigeria, right? Remember, it is in Nigeria. But then let's go through the 3 things that I shared with you again. So number 1 is that before you ever consider divorce, speak with a marriage counselor to review if your marriage is actually that bad for you to seek divorce, or if there's still hope. Number 2 is find a support system that will support you, give you that emotional support while you are going through the divorce. And after the divorce, ensure that you still speak with a therapist to help you deal with all the post-divorce traumatic issues so that you don't create a generational trauma in your family, in your descendants, and so that you also get your life back and get your mental health awareness back, right? Now, if you want to reach out to me, you can use the details on this episode, or you can find a family lawyer closest to you to brief, because the things I share here, they are just for educational purposes, information, orientation. It is not professional advice, it's not professional opinion, and I do not want you to take it as such. It is I, Alright Eigbe, your favorite OAP, counseling psychologist, and family lawyer, and from the ancient and modern city of Ibadan. You're up.